Hello, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Brenda.
And welcome to New Hope Youth Ranch. What we do, or our vision for this, is to help kids heal. A lot of the kids that would come out here are hurting and typically are emotionally shut down. And all of our horses are rescued horses. And the reason that's important is the horses have a story. And these kids will come out and they'll typically connect with a horse. We have horses that have been bullied, kind of a thing, so maybe a child that's been bullied would kind of make that connection with a horse. And we're a ministry as well, so it's an equine assisted youth ministry. And so while we're having these kids open up and kind of share their story, technically they're sharing it with the horse is what will typically happen. And while doing that, we're also sharing the love of Jesus with these kids to just let them know that they have somebody that they can always count on and just have faith in. The reason the ranch is so important to us is we've seen what happened as we volunteered at another ranch that did the same thing. And to see the healing that was happening with these kids was just really moving. And God put it on our hearts to start one here. When we initially came back to Georgia, we had a plan that we were going to do it in 5 years. And God made it pretty clear that He didn't want us to wait 5 years, that kids need help now. And so about 2.5 years ago, we decided to put our house for sale and look for a property, and we ended up finding this property. So we're on about 6 acres, and it's already set up for horses. But the reason we feel so passionate about this is there's so many kids that can use a place like this. We're a nonprofit. We don't charge anything for anything that we do here. So it's a place that any family can afford to come to. And again, with foster care, for example, is really overrun, not just here in Georgia, but all across the country. And these kids just need a place they can go and be safe and just start to heal. Both of us had things that happened when we were younger that we feel is going to lend itself nicely to some of these kids. So I was a troubled youth myself. When I was about 14 years old, my parents got divorced, and I started to get into a lot of trouble. And so I feel through some of the trials I've been through, I can connect with some of these kids and again show them through making good decisions that regardless of your situation, like, you have a choice and you can choose to do the right thing, and with a little bit of effort and with God's help, anything's possible. And that has us sitting here today.
And my hope and my prayers are that in 5 to 10 years, this place will be up and thriving, and we'll be able to help many kids in the community just know the love of Jesus and give them, when they come and everything looks so bleak, just let them get to know the Creator and know that they matter, they can make a change in this world. Lots of kids that have go through the program, they grow so much from it, they want to help other kids. So then they come back and they volunteer. My prayer is it just thrives and takes off and can help hundreds of kids in this community. I think it has changed our lives by just seeing God work. Well, we had seen this property before we had ever bought our other home, and was way out of budget. And so when the time came, when God said it's time to start looking for a property, as we were looking, this one got to a price that seemed like, a very negotiating price.
This house sat empty for about 4 years because of how high the price was. And to our point, like, the first time we looked for homes, it was still way out of our price range. And so we bought a house in a neighboring town and had settled down there. But once God convicted us and said, we need to do this now, and we started looking again, this place dropped in the 2 years we'd come back to Georgia, almost $150,000, which is just crazy. I don't think we have met a person yet that we haven't talked to about this that didn't say that they want to be involved somehow and are just praying for us and praying for this ministry and how much good it's going to do for this community. It's just been so inspiring.
So what the kids can expect when they come is each child is going to be paired with a horse and a mentor. It'll be like a big brother, big sister situation. And through their hour and a half, 2 hour time that they're here every week, they'll be with the same mentor and the horse, and they'll be learning natural horsemanship of how you can work with a horse without being forceful with it. And there'll also be, not only with the horses, there'll be opportunities for them to do other things with their mentors, whether it be, taking out a paddle boat, visiting the other animals, doing different art. Just really trying to cater to each child what they want to do for that day and just make them feel comfortable and have a break from the busy week. There'll be a little garden where they can see how God works growing their food. We just hope that within the next year that we're accommodating as many children as we can. We have 4 horses, a pony, a mini donkey. They're all rescue animals that have been from, different circumstances, whether it be, neglect, abandonment, they got hurt so they're no longer useful for a certain job. So those are our equines. Then we have 2 mini pigs that just like to be scratched and fed, and 2 goats. We have like 8 chickens so that the children can, take them some eggs and see how that whole process works. There is 3 cats which take care of making sure everything is safe around the barn. And we're just very blessed that God gave us all this and that we get to share it with the kids, and just cannot wait to see what God does with this property and this ministry.
Yeah, so one of the things that makes this work, being a nonprofit, is volunteers and the mentors. So if God's put it on your heart to come and help out, there's a job for literally anyone that you can help out. Or if you want to be a mentor where you would work with the horses and the kids, that is the most critical part of this program. Without volunteers and mentors, we can't do this. So if you're interested, feel free to visit our website, nhyr.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you and see how we can get you plugged in and how you can be part of this.